It's 16 minutes after 8, and it's time for your money. And before we get into our discussion where we're going to be talking about pyramid schemes and maybe how to make money quickly, we'll like to feature a story of somebody who's in business. And this morning, Jerome Kombozi is a leading businessman in rice production, where he's built a rice miller's plant where rice consumers and sellers buy rice at an affordable price. His customers are mostly commuters from Nairobi, Embu, Meru counties. He started the business to boost local farmers, and the milling plant has grown and the biggest in Central Region. Jerome Kombozi narrates his story.
Mimi ni director Nice Rice Millers, na mimi ndio director mkubwa kwenye kampuni ya Nice Rice Millers, pia Nice Digital City ambapo imepakana na hii Nice Rice Millers. Pia mimi ni director pamoja. Hii Nice Rice Millers nilianza miaka 7 iliyopita, ambapo Mwea hakukuwa na mashini kubwa hata kidogo. Niliweza kununua mashini 2 kubwa za kushagia wakulima wakati wanataka. Hapo mbeleni hakukuwa na mashini za kuwashagia wakati wanataka. Kulikuwa na mashini kidogo kidogo zaidi ya mashini 100, na wakati wanataka kushagiwa hawangeshagiwa sababu kila mara walikuwa wanashagiwa kwenye mashini hizo na wanalala. Kwa hivyo nakumbuka mboma mingi sana ziliharibika sababu wakina mama wakienda kushaga hawakuwa wanashagiwa kwenye haraka. Pia vishori kwenye Kenya hii yetu, wale wote walikuwa wanahitaji hawakuwa wanapata sababu kulikuwa na mchere nyingi zaidi, ambapo wakati ilikuwa inashagwa haikuwa na mashini za kushaga. Kwa hivyo huwa nikafungua Nice Rice Millers ambapo ninashaga tani ya 50 kwa kila siku, na mashini 2 zinashaga tani 100 kwa siku. Huwa tunashaga usiku na mchana. Kwa hivyo imeweza kumbuni nafasi za kazi nyingi zaidi kwa vijana na wasichana. Wakulima wengi sana nimewasaidia sababu nimeweza kuwatafutia soko sawa, ambapo ni mimi utafuta soko ya Bishori rice, ili huwa ninawamaketia nikiwaambia Wakenya wakati wamenunua mchere ya Bishori ya Pakistani ya Mwea, wamemjenga mkulima wa Mwea. Kwa hivyo kila mara huwa ninaambia watu wengi wa Kenya wakati wananunua mchere ya Pakistani wanajenga Mpakistani. Kwa hivyo tafadhali nunueni mchere ya Bishori Pakistani kila mara ili msaidie mkulima wa Mwea. Nimeweza kusaidia pakubwa hapa Mwea economically katika wilaya hii ya Kirinyaga. Vijana, wasichana, watu wa punda, wa pikipiki, wakina mama, wa middle class wameweza kabisa kuwa wamepata nafasi za kazi. Pia miaka 7 kilo ya white rice Bishori ilikuwa shilingi 50.
All right, and well, that's a man who's that's a man who's basically built his business over time. And joining me to have a conversation on quick rich schemes is Stanley Ngoge, who is a personal finance advisor. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Michael.
And interestingly, let's start with that Nice Rice Millers story.
Yeah.
You tell me you basically have seen it grow.
Yeah.
You knew when he started from a petrol station.
I used to do some work in Embu, and I remember Nice Rice when it was just a small shop near a petrol station there. And actually, that's a good intro into our discussion today, because you can hear that he has built it over time. It started just as a small...
about 7 years.
And maybe even more than 7 years. Maybe 7 years is when he put the shop. But you can imagine the journey has been a long, and now is when it is like paying off in a big way. So I think it is important to understand that in the journey of wealth creation, it is exactly that. It's a journey, and journeys take time.
And there are those who possibly have managed to make money over shorter periods of time. Others take longer.
Yeah.
But what do you think is the secret to actually having a business that grows from a petrol station to now a production company like that?
I think that you know, you've mentioned the word growing, and things that grow take time. If it is a tree, if it is a plant, and if it is a business, it must be grown and nurtured over time. So for me, for something to make money, it must be nurtured. It must be given everything that it needs to grow. And part of that is giving it time to mature. On the flip side, yes, there have been people who have made money quickly and sometimes even overnight, but that also comes with its own challenges and its own risks. So for example, if someone is telling you that, you know, please come and invest in my business, or close your eyes, I pray for you and you will double your money.
It's questionable.
You know, it's very questionable when money comes overnight and very quickly. And what happens is that the faster money is coming in, it means that the higher the risk that something is going to go wrong. So when you're thinking about the speed of money, the thing to always consider is risk, for example. Let me give another example. Sports gambling, which I consider to be kind of like part of the get-rich-quick scheme. You watch a game for 90 minutes and your money can be, you know, doubled or something like that. And that means that the risk that you lose your money is also very high. So it's something that you must always consider. Whereas for someone like that from Nice Rice, he has built the business over time. So he's been able to manage the risk that he will lose his money by actually giving it time to grow.
All right, and at this point in time, just to let you know, we're going to be talking about quick rich schemes, and maybe you want to share your experience. Maybe you have a way, or rather you got duped at one time and gave in your money to a quick rich scheme, and how you fell for it, and basically that's what we'd like to talk about. So Stanley, there was an article in the papers last week of a new, you know, get money quick rich thing that was going round.
Yes.
But this is not the first time it's happening.
Yes.
We know that right from before we had, I think we had the dollar jet. We had quite a number of, you know, schemes that came about where you put in like what they'd call your seed money, and this money over a period of time is multiplied without you doing anything. All you have to do is give them the money, and somehow magically it you know, is multiplied.
Yes.
Your thoughts on this?
First of all, this is just one, but I can assure you there are about 20 going on right at this moment in time. This is something that I don't know why it keeps recurring here in Kenya and maybe Africa, and also interestingly in Asia. These kind of schemes are very big, and what happens is that they come in, they promise you, you know, just put in a bit of money and it will multiply without any real rationale. And this is something that people should avoid at all circumstances. We've, you know, just a couple of years ago, we had people losing billions of shillings because of kind of pyramid scheme type of things, where, you know, I think people are addicted to that promise of something happening overnight, and it is something that we should highly avoid. And what I hope that we can do this morning is kind of give a few tips so that you can spot when you're in a pyramid scheme, because sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you're just thinking.
Sometimes it looks like a good idea.
It looks like a good
normally
idea.
They're very well, what did I say, quoted.
Yes.
In the sense that there's always a logic behind it. For instance, I have fallen victim to one many years ago, where the investment you're making is not, it's not just out of the blues.
Yes.
They invest your money into a certain, what did I call it, like institution, which is bringing in money, and I mean, there's a logic to it.
Yes.
But when you now look at it later is when you realize that there were some gaps. So how does one identify a pyramid scheme?
One of the best ways to identify a pyramid scheme, and this is very common, the reason it is called a pyramid is because it gets money from recruiting people. That's what is called a pyramid, yeah? That means there are few people at the top, and more people become recruited. So the way the organization is making money is by recruitment. That's the first big sign. So if you're in a business or in an investment where the main source of money is you going out and recruiting your friends and family, that is a big sign that it is a pyramid. That's the definition of the pyramid. And common words you want to look out for are uplines and downlines. Uplines are the people who recruited you upwards, and downlines are the people who are feeding you, you know, it's like your line. So if you hear these words, upline, downline, That's a big
But
red
is there
flag.
then a difference between pyramid schemes and multi-level marketing? Because multi-level marketing uses the same terms.
Yes. So I think that's what a lot of pyramid schemes have taken advantage of. So multi-level marketing is, and maybe I can explain it so that people know. Multi-level marketing is where instead of a company has a product, instead of hiring salespeople to distribute its product, the distributors are also clients of the business. So I go, I buy a product, and then I sell it to maybe my friends and family. But a key distinction there is that there's a product. Okay, I'm going, I buy the product, and then I become I kind of like a salesperson. Instead of being paying a salary, I'm paid a commission on whatever it is that I sell. So one of the things that we are looking for to distinguish is there a product that you are selling? Or is it coming from recruitment? Because a lot of also multi-level marketing companies have a referral or a recruitment side as well, where now everyone becomes a distributor. And that's actually how the pyramid comes to fall. Let me give a common example, and people don't realize this, but you remember the quail business
yes.
a couple of years ago?
Absolutely.
That was also what I would call a decentralized pyramid scheme. There was not one
But there was a product. There was the quails.
There was a product,
and
yes.
And the eggs.
There was, but the main, if you investigate, the main people who are buying the quails, not the eggs actually, it was the quails, were other farmers. So what happens is that I have quails, then I know that Michael wants to get into the quail business, not for the eggs, but he also wants to buy quails so that he hatches them and sells to other farmers, not to consumers. So that is a very, it is a very important thing to notice. Are we selling products to other distributors, or are we selling to a consumer? And that's what led to the collapse of the quails, because now all the farmers were exhausted. Everyone and their mother and their father, and I remember in our neighborhood there were like 10, 20 people who had the hatcheries, what are they called, those two? Incubators, yes, and so
incubators, on. Right.
And then at some point there's no one to sell to. And that's what
it became saturated.
Exactly, and that's what leads to the collapse of the pyramid, when there's no new people coming in to feed the pyramid to stand up.
Now, question, are there people who make money out of pyramid schemes? Reason being, there are those who, I forget the term, there's a term that was being used, but they are early responders to the scheme or to the proposal.
Yes.
There are those who come in early. And by the time they're bringing in other people, they possibly have gone up levels, because most of them have levels where you are either gold, you're silver, you're whatever.
I've seen one called Emperor.
Emperor,
King.
exactly. Yeah, and you either have a ring or whatever.
Yeah.
But are there those who make money when you're an early responder to the scheme?
This is a tricky one, because I don't want to seem to endorse it. I think that, yes, there are people who make money, especially if you're early in the pyramid. The people at the top of the pyramid definitely make money. But this money, again, is coming at the cost of the conning of so many other people down the line. And the danger with the pyramid is that you never know whether you are close to the bottom or you're close to the top. So yes, people do make money. I know someone who was at the top of a certain pyramid scheme and they made a lot of money. But then when it collapsed, this person got into a lot of financial problems, because now they got arrested and they had to kind of like find ways to kind of pay back some of the people. So they came from a very high level to a very low level because of their involvement. So yes, you make money, but it is in an illegal or maybe even not an ethical way of making money.
And then, of course, the issue is also continuity, because after you've made that money, chances are you'll not be able to continue making that money. And majority of the people will not have a plan after that. That becomes your sole plan. So, of course, you're bound to lose that money eventually.
Yeah, and it's the same thing that happens with sports gambling. I don't know whether this story is true, but nowadays in social media, you can't know what is true or not. But I saw a story of someone who had won the 230 million jackpot, saying that now they are broke and they have no money. So when you get that kind of money landing on your plate all of a sudden, it's called a windfall. The continuity aspect is not there, and you actually find that a lot of people lose money. I don't know. I don't want to give out our ages, Michael, but do you remember this famous singer called MC Hammer?
Yes.
MC Hammer who had a fantastic 2-year musical career that moved him from $0 to $50 million. And after his musical career ended, it took him just another 2 years for the $50 million to end completely. So it shows that sometimes that getting rich quick or money that lands on your pocket just at once, if you're not careful, it can also lead to your downfall.
All right, yes. And you are on how to identify yes. pyramid schemes. Number one, you've said if there is that multi-level kind of thing, and then there is no product. Yes. Are there other ways that one can identify a pyramid scheme? Because they don't always come as pyramid schemes. They have different forms and shapes.
Yeah. Another thing is the speed of the investment. And I want to introduce something that a lot of people don't know. Some segments of our Kenyan property market, real estate market in Kenya, has also become a it may not be a pyramid scheme, but is a get-rich-quick scheme. Some portions of our land investment is also get rich quick. So someone buys some property somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and then they tell you buy 100,000 and pay over 6 months or something like that. And people want to get rich quickly, so they have heard that property is a good investment. So a good way is to find out if someone tells you that the property in this area is doubling over a year. That's a very high growth return over 1 year. It's about 100% growth. That is also a big indicator. The rate at which the profit grows. So a normal investment, for example, shares on the Nairobi Stock Exchange, maybe you'll have 20, 30, 40% in a year. Land, for example, you'd say in an area like Kikuyu area, you'd have it growing at 20, 30% in a year. But when someone tells you double in 6 months, double in a week, that is also a very big red flag. Or I will come back in 2 weeks, I will double your money. And maybe we are going into the next point. The way the money is being grown is not clear. They're just giving you a very good-looking story, but if you poke holes at it, it is not standing. So for me, for example, one of the things that I try and do to avoid this funny investment is I try and look at it from the perspective of, if this person is conning me, how will I know? Okay, so if I'm going to, for example, I'd attended a seminar the other day of a company that was talking about planting bamboo trees, and then, in 5 years, your money will have grown times 10. So for me, I look at it when I go into such a seminar, I'm thinking in my mind, what if these people are conning me? What would I be looking for if these were con artists, okay? So the first thing I will ask them is, show me a client who has already done the 5 years of bamboo. Or I will even go to where they are claiming the farm is, and I will see what is the age of this bamboo. I will even investigate myself individually. That way, if it is, I go in with a very skeptical mind, hoping that I will prove myself wrong, that these people are not conning me. So I would advise the same. If the way the money is being made is not clear, poke holes.
Then there's poking holes.
Yes.
But is that to say that there are no avenues that one can make money quickly?
I think that there are avenues that people can make money quickly, but people must always understand, the higher the return, the higher the potential profit. And
the quicker it promises to return.
Yes, then the higher the risk. Okay? So if someone is saying, I have this business and I'm going to be importing T-shirts from China and we'll come and sell them, and in 2 months we will double our money. Just understand, yes, that could be a viable business. It is possible, but the risk is also high. And in investment, we consider risk our friend. Investors are not afraid of risk. They just know how to manage it, and they see it. If it is a high risk, then I know what to do in order to manage it. And maybe more importantly, I know which money to put. So for example, I won't put my school fees money, rent money. In a high risk investment, I wouldn't put any money that I am using in the next 1, 2, or 3 years. This is money, as a matter of fact, if I lose this money, I will survive financially. I may take a hit, but I will survive financially. Would
you advise then on taking a loan possibly to invest in let's not call it a quick rich scheme, but an investment that looks like it has high returns and over a short period of time?
I would say that I would avoid taking loans for very high risk investments, because for me, any investment that has the potential to lose everything, I have to be willing to lose that money. So the question you have to ask yourself, am I willing to lose this money and I be left paying the loan? If the answer is no, then don't invest. If the answer is yes, I am willing to lose this money, what's ipotele?
Then fine.
Go ahead. Then do it. That's why I don't usually advise people to borrow loans to start new businesses. You know, I have a new business idea, I want to borrow a loan, I don't advise. But if your business has grown and it has shown some sort of return, then you can borrow a loan to kind of
inject capital into the business.
Something that is already growing.
So what is your advice in terms of the length of time it takes from the time you set up a business or start something that is bound to bring you income to where you should expect returns?
Yes. So I wouldn't say that there's a specific time. What I would say is that what you want to measure is how much money is coming in, okay? So, for example, with the example we were using of a T-shirt business, let's say I'm in campus and I start a small T-shirt business. I'm not looking for it to say after 2 years, then I can, say that this is a good business. I can say if this business starts to sell 50 T-shirts a month, then, and out of those 50 T-shirts, I'm making a good profit, then now you can say this business is growing and maybe I can even inject in a bit more profit. So it's not so much to do with timelines as opposed to cash flow and how the money is making, rather how the business is making money. Is it coming in, or is it a business where, I made a few T-shirt sales in the first week and then no one else bought and so on and so forth.
Okay, yeah. And then your advice on some of the things I should look out for when I'm looking for a business, a new business to start off. Where do I start off? What is it, when it comes to, say, like doing a survey to find out what kind of business I should start, what are some of the things I should look out for?
I'm a member of this group on Facebook called 52 Weeks Saving Challenge. And that's a question that I see on that group every day. Which business should I start? Please advise me. I have this much capital. And I always feel like a very sharp pain in my chest when I hear that question. No one can tell you which business to start. What you should be doing is to look for a problem in your community or in the country or in your environment and solve that problem. A problem where if you solve it, people are willing to pay you. For example, at Genesis Hack Capital, what we do is we advise people on how to manage their money and how to grow their businesses. That's a problem we've identified in the community, and people are willing to pay us to provide a solution for that problem. So the first thing you should be looking at is what is a problem in my community, what is undersupplied, what is oversupplied, and if I supply it, will people, pay me to solve that problem? That should be the first thing. And then now you test it out. So maybe before I put in 1 million shillings in the business, let me put in 10K and see whether people respond to this business. If they don't respond, try and change tactics kidogo kidogo. If completely they don't respond, it is okay to say that the business is not viable. Let me look for another idea. It is what is called failing fast. Okay? So the idea in business when you're starting out is to fail fast. Look for the quickest way you can fail. And then you try it out. If it fails, then make sure you failed for as little money as possible, as quickly as possible, so that now you can move on to the next idea or you can change your strategies a bit.
And how does one go about shutting down a business? Because you'll realize that one of the other things that happens is that you can run a business hoping it's going to kickstart.
Yes.
Because again, you cannot expect to make money overnight.
Yes.
So you end up, keeping a business. So at what point do you now realize that this is not working out and I better close shop?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I think that because we start businesses with a lot of hope, and sometimes we don't know when to close it down. And I think this is something that every business person should be aware of, that your business can die, and it should die, especially if it is not bringing a profit, okay? So the basic rule is this. A business is made for the sake of profit. Number one, if your business is not making profit, and you've tried to change different strategies, you've tried to sell in different ways, you've tried to repackage, you've tried to price things differently. If the business, after making all those small changes, is not making profit, then it is time to say, let me try another business. And to not be too emotionally attached to our business idea. Because sometimes, and it's the truth, some business ideas which seemed fantastic at the beginning just
fizzle out.
They just don't catch on. Yes.
So is there a thing that you would advise that somebody should check and say, this is the point where you say, okay, this business is not working, close shop? Because there are those who've operated on negative.
Yes.
And with time, it's what pays off and becomes now the success story where they say, the reason why I am here today is because when we were down, I learned A, B, C, D, and I was able to inject it back.
Yes.
So at what point do you now say, this is not working, there are no lessons here, close and change?
Yes. When you've tried all the strategies and you've changed all the strategies and it's still not working. When you've changed the price to see whether customers accept. When you've changed the way you sell. When you've changed the packaging, when you've changed the name, when you've tried all these different things and it's just not picking up. The idea is not to take forever to make this decision. And that's why I'm a big fan of the fail fast, okay? Make sure that when you're starting a business, you have even indicators, you have even targets that you've set. If I don't hit this target, this is when I'm going to stop and say no. As a matter of fact, we just released a video that is called, on our website, a video that says investors should learn to take a loss, okay? If you're an investor, one of the things that you must start becoming comfortable with is a loss. When you say, okay, I put in 10K, I put 100 million in this thing, it just, it's just now continuing to eat my money. And at some point, you must learn how to cut that loss so that you save yourself to live another day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, we need to wind up. And your general advice today, the main thing we're looking at is quick, rich schemes, pyramid schemes.
Yes.
And they're bound to come in many shapes and forms. What would be your rule of thumb to anybody out there when it comes to getting money quickly?
Yeah. Look at whether there's a product. Look at where the money is coming from. Is it coming from the sale of the product or is it coming from referrals? That's always a good indicator. Look at the speed at which the profit is being declared. If you're getting into a business and then they're telling you 1 week you'll double your money, that's a red flag. Businesses take time to grow. And finally, to understand that wealth is a journey, and journeys take time, and it is one step at a time. And I really love the lesson from Nice Rice. It takes time. It takes time, and you just build it pole, and then you grow it from small to big.
All right,
Yeah.
so when it comes to making money, it is very difficult to make money overnight. And of course, one of the things that possibly is a challenge to us as a country is the fact that even on the political level, we have politicians who make, or leaders who make money overnight, and that gives us the impression that it is possible to make money overnight.
Can I comment on that?
Yes, you please go ahead. It is a reality.
I think it's become our culture. And I think that our leadership is teaching people, young and old, that you can make money overnight. All you have to do is win an election, and you can make money overnight. And that's why I think our politics has become so politicized and so high stake, because now it's not just politics, it's money.
It's actually wealth control and the fact that you have access to it.
Yes, and very quickly. And that I think is a real negative for our politics and for the way we think about our money, because our children are seeing this and they are knowing, oh, by the all I have to do is this one thing and I become wealthy, then we all want to be politicians now.
Absolutely. Stanley Ngugi, thank you very much for joining us this
pleasure.
morning and just enlightening us on personal finance and how to ensure that you're not part of a quick rich scheme, because you will lose out. And it is now 16 minutes to 9 o'clock. And before we wind up, I'm going to be looking at your feedback in just a bit. But a quick reminder that Kenya Meteorological Department is warning of heavy rains is still active. And on Sunday, KMD predicted heavy rain starting between Monday and Tuesday in parts of Western, Central, North Rift Valley, Northern and Central regions. According to KMD, the heavy rainfall of more than 50 millimeters is likely to affect counties of Turkana, Marsabit, Samburu, Mandera, West Pokot, Elgeyo Marakwet, Trans Nzoia, Uasin Gishu, Nandi, Baringo, Nakuru, Kericho, Bomet, Kakamega, Vihiga, Kisii, Nyamira, Laikipia, Kiambu, Murang'a, and Nyeri. The weathermen therefore advise residents in urban areas to be on the lookout for potential flash floods. Looking at the feedback that we've had so far, just to read a few of your comments, and that is to the question whether you think that the Building Bridges initiative is going to last until 2022. That was our interactive question this morning. Will the Building Bridges initiative last till 2022? Honorable Okebe says, no, it was dead on arrival. It cannot last the test of time. Okay. We have El Morris who says this initiative is just a charade to please Raila. It shouldn't exist in the first place. Wow. We have Kimberly Kimani who says, with no woman in the panel, why? Just to let you know, Kimberly, that we do make it a deliberate effort to try and get ladies onto the panel. However, it remains a challenge. All right. Jeremiah Hagen says history repeats itself. Remember 2002, before we went to our next election in 2007, the bridge broke in 2005. Sonu says that this won't last even 2 years. I'll read one more comment before we move on to the traffic update. We have Andrew J. Franklin who says that MCA is living large at some devolution event. Even money, nothing. Okay, so there you go. Not much confidence from you as Kenyans, if this anything to go by in regards to the Building Bridges initiative that was kick-started by the handshake on the 9th of March by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, and the opposition leader, Raila Odinga. So there you go. Those are your comments so far. And we're going to take a look at traffic updates and Kenyatta Avenue roundabout, which seems to be flowing pretty well. But those inbound seem to be stuck right there. I've never quite understood why we have traffic officers and traffic lights. I don't know why we don't do it one or the other. Because to me, if you ask me, it seems like, well, there just is a problem there. And there are some of the updates that are coming through courtesy of Mathuri route. And, well, looking at them, you can see Thika Road imeanza kufanya ushuke ukienda. It looks like Thika Road is pretty jam-packed. And yes, as you can see, Jogoo Road worsening minute by minute, jam all the way from Makadara Railway. So it looks like traffic is pretty heavy this morning. So in case you are thinking or contemplating living wherever you are, you just might want to give it a little bit more time and join us for News Center, where we have Betty Chalo, who is ready to take up the reins and give you more news and reviews of what is coming up. As you can see, she is there ready to basically give us a rundown of what's happening. Betty, if you can hear me, what do you have prepared for us? Oh, she's not on. Okay, it's a teaser for that. So, well, thank you for joining us this morning. This is where we say goodbye and wish you all a fantastic day from us on Morning Express. We wish you all the best. Do stay with us. We've got News Center coming up.